Here are 6 times Shaquille O'Neal taught us the meaning of kindness. Number 6. Every time Shaquille O'Neal, also known as Shaq, leaves his house, he challenges himself to do at least one nice thing for someone. And this was the case when a mother called Brittany Keith posted a plea for help on Instagram. She was asking for someone to help her find shoes for her 13-year-old son, Zach. You see, even though he was only 13, Zach was already 6 feet 2 inches tall and wore a whopping 18 feet size shoe, which seemed impossible for Brittany to find and afford to buy. And that's when the NBA legend, who had lots of his own experience struggling to buy shoes for his own size, 23 feet, reached out. He arranged for Brittany and Zach to visit Friedman's Shoes, which is Shaq's favorite store for big and tall people in Atlanta, and he ended up buying Zach 10 pairs of shoes. Number 5. The former NBA star is a regular in Atlanta's Zales stores, where he has his own jewelry line, and one day, whilst taking a random trip in the store to buy some loop earrings, he spotted a customer speaking to a cashier about an engagement ring. Well, it turned out the customer had set up a payment plan through a layaway agreement and was on his last payment. He needed to propose to his girlfriend the following day, but he was struggling to make the final payment due to getting the dates mixed up, and that's when Shaq approached him and paid it for him. Not only did Shaq save a man some serious money that day, but he also may very well have saved his relationship. Number 4. Carissa Collins and her husband have 9 children. However, they were outgrowing their 12-passenger van, and the air conditioning wasn't always working the greatest. Basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal, also known as Shaq, happened to learn of the family's problems and invited them all to hang out and eat dinner with him. But little did they know he actually had more in mind. Shaq not only tipped the waitress serving them all $1,000, he then took the family to a Mercedes dealership to get them a new family 15-passenger van. But this still wasn't enough, as you see upon learning Carissa's husband's truck had been without air conditioning and heat for a while. Shaq took them all to a Ford dealership and blessed the family with another truck. Carissa and her family were so overwhelmed she had to share his kind deed on her Instagram. Number 3. Shaq found himself in a store where he crossed paths with a young fan named Zion, but that's when he noticed the boy was crying. Feeling a pang in his heart, compassion took over and he approached him to find out what was troubling him, but little did Zion know he was about to receive a lesson that he would never forget. Well, it turned out little Zion's family had gone to the store to purchase him a coat, but the child also wanted shoes and decided not to listen to his parents. And that's when he was surprised to see Shaq had heard the whole thing and decided to teach his young fan the importance of listening and being respectful to his parents. He encouraged Zion to apologize and embrace his dad with a heartfelt hug. But then Shaq went further than just offering advice. He decided to buy the young fan a brand new pair of shoes, and together they went on a special shopping journey with Shaq assisting Zion in finding the perfect pair.
Oh wow, give him some dab, Zion, give him some dab. Shaquille O'Neal is about to bless Zion with some shoes.
Number 2. Shaquille O'Neal, who was living in the Orlando area at the time of this incident, was traveling on the highway near Gainesville when he saw another car crash. The vehicle's tires blew out and the car spun. However, luckily, the motorist or any of the passengers wasn't injured. Shaq pulled his car over on the Florida highway and raced towards the stranded and shaken driver to make sure she was okay whilst the police were called, and the NBA legend then stayed with the driver until authorities arrived on the scene. Shaq fist-bumped the deputies who arrived, and on their body cam, he was captured on footage standing near a family beside their vehicle. "I appreciate you stopping to help," one of the officers told him in the footage, and once Shaq knew that everyone involved in the incident was okay, he told them all to stay safe before finally leaving and waved as he headed off. He didn't stand around for any accolades, he was simply just being a good citizen. Number 1. A 5-year-old girl goes missing in the worst way imaginable, and Shaq decides he has to step in and help. A 5-year-old girl called Shania Davis was reported missing in North Carolina on November 10th in 2009. And what followed was so tragic and heartbreaking it made people cry, as what happened to Shania is far worse than anyone could have imagined. And it was her own mother who was at the center of it all, as after reporting her daughter missing, it was eventually discovered that she was the one who gave her child to the man who would end up taking the 5-year-old's life, all to pay off a $200 debt she owed. Shaq was sitting at home watching the sad case on the news, and the story brought a tear to his eye. He was so moved by the little girl's story and so heartbroken that she had lost her life in such a cruel way he wanted to help the family. You see, both North Carolina law enforcement and local social services made several mistakes in the weeks and months leading up to her death, and if things had gone differently, Shania might still be alive, as the little girl had only just recently gone to live with her mother, who had never been part of her life up till then. Shaq got in touch with the family and asked if he could pay for the funeral of the 5-year-old girl, as he wanted her to have a funeral that would be as beautiful as she was. More than 2,000 people showed up in an emotional scene as the young girl was laid to rest at Manna Church in Fayetteville, North Carolina, on Sunday at 3 p.m. as white doves were released into the air. It's inspiring to see how Shaq uses his fame and fortune to make a positive impact on people's lives. If you like these kinds of videos promoting positivity, then be sure to subscribe and like this video. Hope to see you in the next one.